Tonight on CTV News at 6. A difficult day for Algoma Steel in the city of Sault Ste. Marie.
The government let us down in the sense that there was funding provided without any conditions.
Algoma blames U.S. tariffs for the job cuts, keeping its options open.
If we can't find local staff, our primary method of recruitment is our local colleges, and that's who we want to recruit first.
If that fails, Cochrane District Paramedic Service may turn to the international community. And support over enforcement in the downtown.
We consider this to be a significant project, an initiative that's had really strong results.
Police in Sudbury say some experiencing addiction are being connected with support services.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday. News of layoffs at Algoma Steel yesterday has turned to frustration for many in the community. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more from union officials who had hopes that $500 million in government funding could stave off layoffs a bit longer.
It was not the layoffs at Algoma Steel that were the surprise yesterday. It was the timing. The company was on its way to a newer, greener way of steelmaking, and the move to an electric arc furnace would mean less staffing. Company officials say these layoffs were a year in advance because of complications from tariffs. $500 million in funding from both upper levels of government was announced in August, and to the frustration of union leaders, job protections were not part of that deal.
I did voice my opinion that I think any money that's coming out of taxpayers' pockets should protect jobs, should protect the people that are paying those taxes. Unfortunately, that wasn't the decision at the end.
The government let us down in the sense that there was funding provided without any conditions, and the conditions should have been that there had to be mitigation strategies. And some of the strategies were retraining.
Algoma Steel officials were standing by the support they received despite the layoffs. In a statement, President Michael Garcia said, in part, "I want to commend the Prime Minister and his government for the continued support of Algoma Steel and the Canadian steel industry. I would also like to acknowledge the unwavering commitment of Premier Ford and his government to our sector and Algoma in particular." For DePratt, frustration goes beyond the government, saying that union reps negotiated for some of that training to be done in-house.
We negotiated a mitigation strategy in a letter of agreement, which wasn't implemented. We repeatedly asked that it be implemented, and it wasn't, and it isn't to this day. The company is now saying through lawyers in arbitration that the mitigation strategies expired on July 31st, 2025, and that is simply not correct.
Algoma Steel officials did not respond to an interview request for this story. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
And the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, in a joint statement with the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association, offering their condolences to workers. FNOM President Dave Pleward saying, "We will continue to advocate for a strong, stable steel sector and for the return of these jobs as quickly as possible," while Rick Dumas, president of NOMA, adding they remain committed to working with all orders of government to see this trade war resolved, industry stabilized, and good-paying jobs restored to Sault Ste. Marie. Regional politicians also weighing in, with Nipissing MPP and Jobs Minister Vic Fedeli writing in part, "We've provided Algoma a $100 million loan to keep as many workers on the job as possible. We are activating a local power center to provide enhanced supports for impacted workers, including retraining programs to get people into new jobs as quickly as possible." Terry Sheehan, Sault Ste. Marie Algoma Member of Parliament, writes, "I am in contact with federal government departments and agencies that will directly respond to the needs of impacted workers and expedite any federal services required during these difficult times." In other news, two mining giants are joining forces on a copper project in Sudbury. Valley Limited and Glencore have announced plans to work together to develop a brownfield copper project on adjacent properties in the Sudbury Basin. The plan is to mine both companies' underground deposits using an existing shaft at Glencore's Nickel Rim South mine. Once the early work is complete, the companies will be equal partners in the joint venture. The project is expected to produce 880 kilotons of copper over 21 years. Police in North Bay are asking for the public's help after a Facebook marketplace transaction turned into a robbery. Police say a buyer met with the seller at a residence in the 800 block of Jane Street November 27th around 5:30 p.m. The buyer took 2 items worth $10,000. Someone intervened and was assaulted before the suspect left the scene in a dark-colored Kia SUV driving down Jane Street toward Gormanville Road. For more on this story, you can visit our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. The Cochrane District Paramedic Service now has a plan in place to hire Australian paramedics. Officials say there is no immediate need to fill local vacancies, but they want to have a backup if local and regional applicants fall short. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
The Chief of Paramedic Services for the Cochrane District says when he needs to find more paramedics, he may turn to the international community. Mark Renault says due to some political changes with the United States and England, there is a surplus of paramedics and other healthcare workers in Australia.
They're very qualified. There's a 3-year program through Monash University in Australia that leaves them very qualified to come and work here. We have a pathway through New Brunswick where they would be able to get credentialing to be able to work in Canada.
Renault says the Cochrane District Services Board recently approved the recruitment and immigration of up to 8 licensed paramedics from Australia with a required 2-year service commitment.
If we can't find local staff, our primary method of recruitment is our local colleges, and that's who we want to recruit first.
Renault says the part-time pool is lower at this time than he'd like, and he wants to have those positions filled 100% of the time. Northern College officials applaud the Cochrane District Paramedic Services initiative and add there is no better time than now to become a paramedic since the province continues to offer a stay and learn grant. The college adds its paramedic program currently has no waiting list.
I encourage students and parents to really think hard about the savings that they would incur, long term, and the fact that they get a credential that is transferable to anywhere they want to work, later in life, and it will be something that will always be in demand.
The next intake for the Northern College Paramedic program is in September, and the class size is around 40 students. Mature students are also welcome to apply. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Shifting gears now, get ready for the big chill. How cold is it going to get? With that answer, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Good movie, The Big Chill. I like that one, Tony. Nice reference. Movie trivia buff there. Systems map, courtesy of Environment Canada. And of course, we can see some flurries and of course the squalls continue in northeastern Ontario, not only this evening, but overnight. Then it gets cold by tomorrow evening. Then it gets a little warmer. Then it gets cold again. So on again, off again. And we've seen that cycle before. So the high pressure system with the sunshine will bring some colder weather when it's overcast or we have flurries and what have you. Low pressure system, not as cold. Some details coming up a little bit later on. Tony?
Thanks for that, Rick. It's a new initiative still to come on CTV News at 6. Police in Sudbury say there is less open drug use in the core. And food banks are seeing a spike in usage for yet another year.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Statistics from a new initiative from Sudbury Police show a downward trend in crimes like open drug use downtown, but police say the real success is the number of individuals connected with social services. We get more from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
Sudbury police have followed through on a commitment to address concerns like open-air drug use and substance intoxication in the downtown. But their approach prioritized providing support over enforcement.
We consider this to be a significant project, an initiative that's had really strong results.
Greater Sudbury Police launched its Support First strategy 1 month ago. Individuals found experiencing addiction were connected with support services like treatment or housing before officers considered making an arrest. Between November 2nd and the 28th, police conducted 238 interactions where they made 190 referrals to support services, gave 18 drug warnings, and made 8 arrests.
Those arrests involve people who are chronically non-compliant during this initiative, and as well some of them are involved in drug trafficking.
Over the 4 weeks, open-air drug occurrences trended downward each consecutive week.
That shows us that police engagement is important, and again, we are relevant, stakeholders in this conversation.
The Support First strategy, along with increased police patrols downtown, have gone over well with the local business community.
Really, that's what we needed, was those stricter standards. I think that's going to continue. You're not allowed to drink alcohol in the street, not allowed to smoke in the park. Exceptions were being made for people that might be struggling, but at the same time, it's not a safe condition for others. So resetting some of those boundaries has been really important.
The Support First strategy was only meant to be a 4-week initiative, but Deputy Chief Hilt calls it a springboard to a new era at GSPS, adding that the strategy will continue in some form throughout the winter and into 2026. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Feed Ontario's latest report reveals over 1 million people across the province turned to a food bank in the last year, a record high. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more from Sudbury.
When food bank visits go up, communities feel the pressure.
The demand for help across the province is shattering records. The 2025 Hunger Report marks the 9th year in a row food bank usage has been on the rise.
We've reached another all-time record high of more than 1 million people accessing our services, over 8.7 million times this past year.
What is most concerning, Stewart says, is the major shift in who is now seeking help.
1/3 of those who accessed our services this year were doing so for the very first time. 30% are children. 30% are people who are living with disabilities, and even 25% of those now accessing our services are actually employed.
Locally, food banks are seeing those provincial trends play out on a daily basis. Inner City Home says just last week it saw 35 families come through the doors of its new Sudbury location in one day.
Right now, it's a common thing that we're running out of food. The Sudbury Food Bank certainly looks after our needs as much as possible, but in the last few weeks we've been forced to go out and buy additional foods.
Food banks are supporting working families, seniors on fixed incomes, and newcomers who cannot keep up with the cost of housing and groceries. The French River Food Bank, which serves roughly 100 families a month, says it's seen a 20% increase in demand, many of whom are new faces.
We're getting a lot more families than what we had before. And again, it's because the income is so low and the cost of living so high. So there hasn't been a catch up since COVID between the two. And so there's been no relief.
The report calls for urgent action from all levels of government to address underlying issues of housing and income that are driving these record numbers. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
The Elgin Street Mission in Sudbury began its annual Mission 31 campaign last night. During the month of December, different community groups volunteer their time to serve hot meals to the city's vulnerable. Details from CTV's Madison Merrier.
Dozens of people lined up to fill their stomachs with a hot meal beside a live band at the Elgin Street Mission.
The idea is to have different groups in as well, throughout the month, different community groups serving to be able to see what we do here at the Mission.
It's part of getting into that spirit of Christmas, and not the commercial spirit, but the true meaning of Christmas.
This year, the Mission raised more than $31,000 for the month of meals, and more than 31 community groups volunteered, allowing Elgin Street Mission to operate the community service for some breakfast as well.
People are very generous with their time, especially here in Sudbury. It's the holiday season. People want to give back, and so finding people to serve for 31 days has been easy. We've actually not had enough days.
It's the sense that maybe we're making a difference, each of us in our own little way, that for however brief a time, we're providing some kind of comfort to people who need it.
Along with the increase of support, the food bank is also seeing an increase in use and need.
With the cost of living going up more, we're seeing those young families. And so we serve between, on a regular night, we usually aim for 200. On other nights, sometimes that's 250. So there are increases.
Labreche said she is grateful to all of the community members and sponsors who have donated, showing just how generous Sudbury is in ensuring everybody has a warm holiday meal this season. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
And this is Giving Tuesday, one of the most important donation drives of the year. It follows the American Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and Cyber Monday. Giving Tuesday is a moment to support charities, community groups, or causes that matter to you. Even small donations can make a big impact for families and programs in need. An official with Food Banks Canada says every little bit helps.
So you may think, what's my $25, what's my $10 going to do? But every little bit adds up, and it makes a difference, a real difference in the lives of people in this country who are struggling, who are having to make some of the most impossible choices you can ever imagine.
And Giving Tuesday has been an annual event since 2012. Back now for a check on your current conditions. Once again, here's Rick.
Pretty cold tonight, Tony, with the wind chill effect, but of course it will get colder. First of all, let's check out our forecast, really the forecast radar. That system moving through, so we've got some flurries and we've got some squalls tonight overnight. And again, some precipitation in some areas will be a little heavier than others, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our current conditions right across northeastern Ontario. Let's begin this evening in Timmins at -9, Cochrane -11, and Moosonee -12. In Kapuskasing, some light precipitation at -10. All these temperatures, by the way, with the wind chill. Chapleau -11, Wawa -9, and Sault Ste. Marie at -8. Parry Sound this hour, not bad, -4. In North Bay, -8, Temiskaming Shores, -7, and Kirkland Lake at -6. How about Greater Sudbury, Nickel Belt, -8, some light snow, Espanola, light snow, -5, Elliott Lake, -10, just a few clouds, and Gore Bay at -6, mainly cloudy skies. Tony, 7-day forecast, and the illustrious, I say that, illustrious pick of the day coming up just minutes away. Back to you.
Thanks, Rick. A closer look at the books next on CTV News at 6. Ontario's Auditor General says the province isn't properly overseeing doctor billings. And the RCMP and other police agencies round up suspects and seize fentanyl. At Queen's Park today, the province's Auditor General released her annual report. The focus this year, healthcare. CTV's Siobhan Morris has that story.
Ontario's Auditor General finds big gaps in monitoring doctor billing practices. In her annual report, Shelley Spence flags physicians putting in for over 100 hours in just a day, 365 days of work a year, and far more than their peers, sometimes all three.
Those were all very shocking to me.
The government estimates anomalies could cost taxpayers in the ballpark of $500 million a year.
If there is waste in the billing system, and we're not saying there is, we're just saying it needs to be reviewed. And if it could be recovered, you could use that money to hire more family physicians.
The parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Health, dismissive of eyebrow-raising bills.
Well, no, we're not. Maybe you're talking about hypotheticals. I'm talking about an actual process.
He explains healthcare and its billing system are complex.
So we need need not automatically jump to an assumption.
The Ministry of Health says the problem cases the auditor identified are being investigated.
This isn't really about the individual doctors as much as it is about the fact that the government refuses to put enough people in charge of monitoring these things.
The auditor also flags a lack of collaboration and planning on getting Ontarians linked to primary care. While the province has boasted about clearing half of a waiting list,
Healthcare Connect is failing to meet the moment. Ontario health teams are saying it's not working, patients are not using it, family doctors are not using it.
Spence notes that only about 11% of those without a doctor are using the service.
Maybe if you advertised that it's available to people, it might start working.
Ontario hasn't updated its communication plan to tell doctors and patients about the program in a decade.
For generations.
This was the biggest year on record for government advertising, $112 million through the end of March. 38% of that bill covered ads the Auditor General describes as being mostly to foster a positive image of progressive conservatives.
It's important both before or after an election cycle for the public to be informed with nonpartisan government advertising. That is what we're doing. That is what we're committed to.
A rule change by the previous Liberal government allowed this kind of advertising.
That was the wrong thing to do. It makes me mad. Not as mad as I am about the way they're spending money right now.
The government's defending disorganized management of its PPE stock, something that's led to $1.4 billion worth of gloves, masks, and gowns
literally being thrown away. Blown up in smoke.
The auditor says some of this stuff expired or was purchased post-pandemic in long-term contracts. The gear not always fitting the needs of the people who use it.
Yeah, well, I guess I would ask a question. Would you like substandard PPE to be used with your children?
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A joint strike force involving more than 100 police agencies in Canada has resulted in record seizures of fentanyl over several months. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
These investigations took place on opposite ends of our province.
For months, police across Canada, in big cities and small towns, have been targeting organized crime.
We did find this group had certain photos or emblems.
Between May and October, a joint strike force of more than 100 police agencies focused on taking illegal fentanyl off the streets. Police seized 386 kilograms of fentanyl, more than 1,700 kilograms of methamphetamine, and nearly 6,000 kilograms of cocaine, along with more than $13 million in cash.
There's some big players here, and there's some smaller departments, but it's a real shining example of the feds, the provinces, and municipal agencies all working together.
A chunk of fentanyl there. This is the second time that a national effort was coordinated by the RCMP to target deadly opioids after Donald Trump accused Canada of not doing enough to stem the flow of fentanyl across the border earlier this year.
Canada's a very bad abuser.
The RCMP say more than 8,000 arrests and charges were laid involving 200 organized crime groups. Despite the record quantities of seizures, investigators say fentanyl is being trafficked for domestic use, not being exported.
The source is not each other. The source is from external countries, external regions. So fentanyl is not going certainly from Canada to the U.S.
The RCMP say China continues to be the biggest source of precursor chemicals that go into the making of illegal fentanyl. In the near future, the Mounties plan to target ports, rail yards, and airports, along with drugs that are sent through the mail. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A traffic stop for stunt driving led to the arrest of 3 people for drug trafficking near Kirkland Lake. OPP say they caught the driver doing 141 kilometers an hour on Highway 11 in Grenfell Township in October. When they pulled the vehicle over, the officer smelled cannabis and conducted a search of the vehicle. More than $46,000 in drugs were seized, along with cash, SIM cards, and brass knuckles. The 3 people in the vehicle, all from Southern Ontario, were charged with several counts of trafficking. Now, the latest on the international efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Today, U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is in Moscow for a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Trump administration is trying to gain traction for his contentious peace plan. Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is also taking part in the talks at the Kremlin. The U.S. peace plan is seen by many in Ukraine and its allies as endorsing many of Russia's demands, including Moscow's control of a large part of Ukraine, its demand that Ukraine not be allowed to join NATO, and restrictions on the size of Ukraine's military. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Ireland today as he continues his efforts to maintain European support in his fight against the nearly 4-year-old Russian invasion. Ireland is officially neutral when it comes to the conflict and is not a member of NATO, but it has sent non-lethal military support to Ukraine. In addition, more than 100,000 Ukrainians have fled to Ireland since Russia launched its attack on Ukraine in February 2022. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Turning colder, Tony. We've got some flurries and the snow squalls to deal with in some areas and some accumulation more than expected compared to some of the others. Our forecast radar right now, that system calling for periods of snow tomorrow. So again, the squalls and the flurries, and we'll have to deal with that one more time before it starts getting colder in some sectors by tomorrow evening. Big change in the temperature. Meanwhile, overnight chance of flurries in Greater Sudbury. Flurries in the Sioux, 2 centimeters. Timmins, chance of flurries. Chance of flurries to Temiskaming Shores. Couple of centimeters in North Bay as well overnight. Moose City, -14, 2 to 4 centimeters. Caphurst, 2 to 4 centimeters. Wawa, 5 to 10 centimeters. Gore Bay, flurries and flurries. Perry Sound, 2 to 4 centimeters. Here we go now, your 7-day numbers for tomorrow, as I just indicated, 2 to 4 centimeters, -1. Thursday, here we go, -16, colder. Friday, Saturday, chance of flurries. Sunday, colder, -13, and -11 with the sunshine by next Monday. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, flurries for tomorrow, 5 centimeters, then another 5 tomorrow night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, chance of flurries all 3 days. The temperature's not all that bad. Sunday, -8 with the cloud cover. Chance of flurries on Monday at -6. How about Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, -25 tomorrow evening. Squalls, flurries, 5 to 10 centimeters, a high of -6. -16 with the sunshine Thursday in that high pressure system. Friday, chance of flurries, more of the same Saturday. Sunday, -17, sunny skies. And again, Monday, sunshine, -14. Those evening lows, -25, -24, and -22. How about Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lakes, squalls and flurries, 5 centimeters for tomorrow, -1. -16 with the sunshine Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Chance of flurries warming up to -4, -3, -15, and -12. Sunday and Monday, sunny skies both days with that high pressure system. And those temperatures, far cry from the normal that you should be getting at this time of the year. Let's have a look now at North Bay, West Nipissing. Flurries tomorrow, 5 to 10 centimeters, a high of +1, not -1, but +1. Thursday, sun and cloud, -17. Friday and Saturday, chance of flurries both days, -5, -6. Here we go, Sunday, a cold one, but nice. -13 with the sunshine, -11 Monday with the sunny skies. It's time now for the pick of the day. Let's have a look. Great shot here from CT. Trolls Water Slide in East Ferris. You know that better than I do, CT, but nice shot, typical of the season. A little bit of snow, a little bit of foliage, and of course we've got some trees with a little bit of snow as well. Thank you for that. Perhaps your pick could be on tomorrow. Stick around. Ask an Expert for this week is coming up next. It's time now for Ask an Expert. CAA's Rachel Lalonde is back tonight with more on travel preparation for the fall and winter. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
There's a lot to think about when planning a trip, from booking tickets to getting insurance. What are the pre-travel items people seem to always forget about?
I think the biggest thing is check your ID. Make sure it's valid. Your passport. Many countries require the passport to be valid for at least 6 months after you return home. So make sure that it's valid. And your driver's license. If you're planning to drive when you're abroad, make sure your license is renewed. We don't get notices anymore, so you wouldn't believe how many people are driving with an expired license plate, driver's license. If you're going out of the country, register as a Canadian traveling abroad. That way you'll be kept in the loop in case there's something unexpected that happens, like a natural disaster or civil unrest. The government can certainly notify you. Don't forget and don't wait to get travel insurance. Trip cancellation and interruption insurance should be purchased as soon as you put that money down on your trip.
Good points to remember. I once forgot my passport trying to get into the States to see a Buffalo Bills game, so needless to say, I didn't get to see the game. Lost luggage is always a major concern for travelers. So what can travelers do to protect their belongings?
You know what? Pack smarter, pack smaller. You don't need to bring everything with you. If it's possible, use carry-on only. Look into purchasing a tracker as well for your bag. Those air tags, they're a saving grace for those who have luggage that's misplaced. You know it's in the airport, but you can let the carrier know where it is in the airport. Make sure that your travel insurance policy does cover baggage loss as well. Baggage insurance will cover the loss, the damage, or delay of your baggage and personal items due to theft or transportation hazards as well. It also protects your ID, your equipment, and the essential necessities.
Okay, Rachel, planning can be challenging, and for some it's overwhelming. Is it the same for getting travel insurance?
It has been challenging, but that's why we recommend that travelers rely on the travel experts. As for travel insurance, it really is easy to get, whether you want to buy online, if you want to call, or if you want to visit a travel consultant in person. With CAA travel insurance, it is super easy to get it online. Just a few simple steps, you can get your quote and you can issue your policy. And CAA members can save up to 20% on their policy. And you can save your quote for up to 30 days while you're thinking about it, so you don't really have to commit right away.
You make this sound so easy. CAA's Rachel Lalonde. For more information on tonight's segment and past episodes of Ask an Expert, please visit our website at CTV News Northern Ontario.
Thanks, Rick. You may have noticed holiday lights dotting the neighborhood landscape. They can make a home look festive, but can also be frustrating to use. The winter weather can be a challenge for string lights, which often need to be replaced. But there are some things you can do to try and make them last. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Some homes are already decked out for the holidays, and some homeowners spare no expense to have their properties look great for the festive season. It never seems to fail. Every year when I do my Christmas and holiday lights, there always seems to be at least one or two strings that don't work, and it's hard to know when should you fix them and when should you throw them out.
Number one rule is to make sure that you unplug things before you attempt to fix them.
Kyle Tobin of Christmas Lights Toronto says his company has been decorating homes for the past 35 years. He says, unfortunately, many holiday lights are not built to last.
The problem is that consumer lights, retail version lights, are not designed to withstand more than 1 or 2 seasons, whereas commercial grade lights are meant to be replaceable. Parts can be retrofitted so that they can be maintained to last many years.
Tobin says wet, freezing temperatures are also hard on outdoor lights.
Brittle wire, water, and corrosion. Those are the biggest culprits of things that make a light strand disposable.
If you have a strand that won't light, there are 2 fuses behind a small door on the plug. Replacing them with fuses that came with your original set or that you purchased separately could fix the problem.
If this doesn't fix it, there's a good chance you need to throw out your lights. Plug her in, and if it works, then you've probably solved the problem.
Also check bulbs for corrosion.
When this corrosion happens from moisture getting in and age, you develop something that's going to interrupt the flow of electricity.
A recap: 4 common fixes for burnt out string lights: replace the fuses, swap burnt out bulbs, check bulbs and the cord for damage, and if bulbs are rust colored and the wire is brittle and frayed, recycle the lights and get a new set. Tobin says using damaged lights is not worth the fire risk, as you want to be sure you have a safe holiday season. Pat Foran, CTV News.
For the first time, a specialized training trailer was at Cambrian College in Sudbury today. 20 students took part in confidence and confined space training in the pre-service firefighting education and training program. CTV's Alan Everson reports.
19-year-old Madison Ellis is mentally preparing to maneuver a maze inside this trailer blindfolded. She is wearing 90 pounds of gear, making her way through confined spaces.
The faster you breathe, the more oxygen you're going to burn, so you kind of got to use the skip breathing method. You got to control your breathing. Most thing is to stay calm.
Justin Hollywood is demonstrating the training for us in the light so our cameras can capture it. The scenarios are all in the dark, with students wearing oxygen tanks.
It's really tricky to get through the small spaces with an extra foot on your back almost. You got to use different techniques that you wouldn't think your body would fit through, like going backwards through small spaces that you wouldn't think you would. And a lot more maneuvering than you would think to get through small spaces.
In this scenario, the team is training to rescue a victim.
You have to go through areas of confined space. Also, they know how to react based on enclosures, and it's very, very psychologically hard, and they have to experience this if they want to become firefighters.
The students say the training is invaluable.
Sometimes you don't think you're going to fit at all. You can start to get panicked. You have to keep calm in the mind.
Just be able to get a job and help people when they need it most on the worst days of their life.
The trailer travels across the province, also providing unique training opportunities for mine rescue and industrial emergency response teams. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
And it's a big night for a Sudbury charity. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, Independent Living Sudbury Manitoulin is hosting its gala on Saturday, and we'll tell you more after this commercial break.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
A lot is happening right now as we get closer to Christmas. Independent Living Sudbury Manitoulin is hosting its 16th annual International Day of Persons with Disabilities Gala this Saturday. And to tell us more, Angela Gray, the Executive Director, now joins us. Hi there, Angela.
Tony, thanks for having me.
And who's with you?
So with me today, I have Axel Poulet, who is a recent hire in our fundraising department. ILSM is a charity, so obviously we have to spend a lot of time fundraising, and we're very fortunate to have received some funding from the NOHFC to bring Axel on board.
That's terrific. So what's the theme for the gala this year?
So this year it is the Bodacious 80s. We're pretty excited. A lot of the members decided on the theme, and we are pretty excited about the fact that we get to celebrate the 80s all over again. I mean, it was great fashion and great music, right?
It was. I remember that decade. You have a retro photo, booth. You have a silent auction, bar, of course, and dinner.
Yep. So one other thing that we have is, in addition to the silent auction, radio personality James Horner Smith has agreed to do an actual live auction, and we were able to get 2 tickets from WestJet. I mean, there'll obviously be some conditions with that, but it's anywhere WestJet flies. And then the second live auction item will be a 1-week stay around September in Las Vegas. So we have some pretty huge prizes.
Axel, you've been sitting there patiently off to the sidelines a little bit. What's it like fundraising for this terrific organization?
Honestly, I am very impressed by the amount of generosity that we do see from the general community. Fundraising itself can be a challenge, but it's one I'm up for, and I'm honestly having a blast. Everybody seems really supportive, and I'm really glad that we're getting our message out there. I mean, I myself came from the membership into this position, and that's stuff like that is really incredibly valuable to us, because it really gives us an opportunity. Like personally, I walk with a cane, and a lot of employers have a tendency to have a sort of issue with that. So, Angela, though, we don't judge. We don't judge here.
Axel and Angela, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Tony.
Angela Gray and Axel Poulin were our guests. And to learn more about the gala on Saturday, head to ilsm.ca. The North Shore Health Network is advising people of an emergency department closure. The Thessalon site will be closed tomorrow and will reopen Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. There will be a nurse practitioner on site for urgent care Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Richards Landing, Matthews Site, Sioux Area Hospital, and Blind River will be open. Anyone experiencing a medical emergency should call 911. Laurentian University is celebrating Giving Tuesday at the Parker Building Atrium with the Joyce Family Foundation. The foundation endowed $2 million to the university to be given as student bursaries. Students were also invited to be part of the philanthropic event with games and activities. They also learned about a new bursary that those in financial need can apply for.
The school is going to manage the fund and select the recipients. So I really like that because the selection committee will know the community and have ties into the community to know which students face financial obstacles but have the promise to pursue post-secondary studies.
The bursaries at Laurentian University will start being awarded next fall. Sudbury Wolves forward Kieran Walton has been named the OHL's Player of the Week. Last week, Walton racked up 7 points in just 3 games, including this overtime game-winning goal Saturday. This is the second time the Winnipeg Jets prospect has been named Player of the Week, getting the nod back in October. He is the only Sudbury Wolves player to make the list so far this season.
Entertainment brought to you by the Cinefest Red Carpet Patron Program.
December has barely begun, but in the entertainment world, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. David Daniel sees what's under the tree in the Hollywood Report.
Elton John's Yuletide classic Step Into Christmas is officially platinum. The Recording Industry Association of America has certified the 1973 song has sold more than 1 million copies. It's triple platinum in the UK, where it's re-entered the charts every December since 2011. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Lady A is out with their first new Christmas album in more than a decade. The country pop trio is supporting On This Winter Night Volume 2 with their first ever Christmas tour, launching Friday in Atlanta, Georgia.
Let's start the holidays!
I can't wait for the snow!
Here's your first look at the first snow of Fraggle Rock. Gobo heads to outer space, the human world, looking for inspiration for his annual holiday song. The first snow of Fraggle Rock falls Friday on Apple TV. Making hot chocolate in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
A smaller Canadian bank is being acquired in a $1.9 billion deal. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more on that.
Laurentian Bank is being sold to Fairstone Bank for just under $2 billion. Fairstone is an alternative mortgage lender. It will pay a 20% premium to Laurentian shareholders to buy the bank's commercial lending unit. And National Bank is acquiring Laurentian's retail and small business assets. The news today swept Laurentian shares up over 18%. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.54. West Texas Intermediate crude is down to 58.64. Western Canadian Select is up to 46.24. And the TSX lost another 52 points today, ending the day at 31,049. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down $30.60, closing the day at $42.02, 92 US an ounce. Silver up 54 cents to end the day at 58.46. Copper moved ahead 5 cents to 5.09, and nickel down a nickel, ending the day at 6.62 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Wednesday weather.
We've got flurries and squalls in the forecast and a big drop in the temperature. Let's take a look at wake-up weather for tomorrow. Greater Sudbury, -1, Timmins -6, and again that precipitation 5 to 10 centimeters. Sault Ste. Marie -3, another 5 centimeters as well. 2 to 4 in Greater Sudbury for tomorrow. How about North Bay? 5 to 10 centimeters +1. +1 Perry Sound, 5 to 10 centimeters, and Temiskaming Shores, Tony, -1, another 5 centimeters. Then it starts to get colder. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. On Saturday, our CTV studio will be full of activity as the 77th CTV Lions Children's Christmas Telethon hits the air at 2 p.m. This year, 2 talented artists, Stacey Caverly and Ilana Van Zyl, worked for 3 days painting a new backdrop for the telethon set. The giant canvas took 4 gallons and 11 quarts of paint to complete. While they've worked together in the past, they say this was a new experience.
Sent us a bit of a reference photo, and because Alana and I have painted together before, we know each other's strong points, we sort of took that plan and went with it, but added some more color and some more Christmas balls and just sort of did what we knew we could do.
It's quite wonderful to know that we're helping the larger community as well as some children out in the world, and that our talents can be used in a positive way.
And a huge thank you goes out to our talented painters as well as IATSE for finding them, and Cocoon Home Hardware in Sudbury for supplying the paint. And we leave you tonight with a little video showing you how all their hard work came together. Good night.